Hi and welcome to Visual Art Photography. I'm Ray Scott. Today on Neighborhood Photographer, we're going to head out into the chilly cold, down to an artificial lake right in the middle of the neighborhood. And our goal today is to capture an image that doesn't actually show the neighborhood, a shot that could be taken anywhere. So before we head outside into the cold air, I just wanted to say that the shot that you're going to be seeing later on, the shot that we're featuring today on Neighborhood Photographer, was actually taken a while ago. And that's the beauty of Neighborhood Photographer. You get to know what's in your neighborhood, and you get to go back to it time and time again, depending on what the light is, all sorts of different factors that can go into it that can make your image better. Now, when we're going out today, it's very cold. And there's really it's not a good environment to be shooting in. And that's part of, I want you to see that so that you can see the lake at a very average stage as compared to what we're going to come up with a finished product, the product that I got a little while ago. So let's head out. You can see the homes. I mean, there's apartments and condos and things like that around. It's very much neighborhood. Now, there's nothing much to look at. It's just a lot of snow, and it's extremely cold here today. It's not a day that I would really like to be out photographing, that's for darn sure. But I'm here because in Neighborhood Photographer, a lot of the time when you're shooting in winter, it's a really smart idea to go out when it's not so cold. What you find is even when you're shooting when the temperature is just around the freezing point, it looks just as cold as it is today. And today it is really, really cold, and the wind is really high at times. So now I came down here in this area a while ago, and I did some photography close to sunset, I suppose. And the snow was, it was a lot nicer because it had just snowed and the snow was wet and it was sticking to everything. And that's what we're going to be talking about today on Neighborhood Photographer. In fact, I was right in this area and I took the shot right around here. So you see what I mean? It looks pretty stark out there. But that's the way it is, you know, and that's, again, the nice thing about being in the neighborhood. You get to go back time and time again. Everything is pretty close by for you. Now, just a reminder too that on Neighborhood Photographer, while there always is a how-to element to the show and an instructional value to it, our emphasis, the thrust of this series, Neighborhood Photographer, is about getting the camera out, getting it in your hand, and taking lots and lots of images. Okay, so we're going to take a look at what I captured a little while ago down at the lake. So this is what it looked like down at the lake a little while ago. It had been a rather mild day with some sticky snow, and you can see the effect now that the storm has passed. It was just beautiful. And it was later in the day, the sun was getting ready to set, and it was just a great place to be. It was a winter wonderland. Now, in the back, there were homes. There are homes in here. I mean, it is a neighborhood lake, artificial lake. But I didn't want to show them, and I didn't want to have to clone things out and stuff like that. I wanted it to appear like it could be a lake anywhere, maybe up in the country somewhere. So I composed it very carefully. From the bridge that you saw in the previous video, I stood on that bridge and composed and got this shot. Now this was the shot right out of the camera, and I always shoot RAW, not JPEG. I shoot RAW, so there's a little bit of processing to do. It's not bad, but there's, you know, up here there are a few dust specks and things like that, so I got rid of those. Basically, I think on this layer here I got rid of some of them. Now, I did a levels adjustment, and this was just to bring in a little bit more of a cold feeling, a little bit of blue. I then did a hue saturation layer to boost the color a little bit more magenta, just to warm it up a little bit. Selective color, watch this. See? Selective color. And that was almost to neutralize it a little bit, because you don't want it too magenta and too blue. But it's pretty close to the way it was shot out of the camera at this point too. Now to lighten the whole thing, I used a curves layer right there. That was just to brighten it. Okay, you can see the curves layer. If I double click on this, the curves layer up here, I just nudged it up a little bit to give it a little bit more pop. And now I'll give it even more pop by using a contrast curve. Look at that. Look at the difference. And that just brings in the contrast. And then another layer up here to get rid of some stuff up there, some noise. And then to darken the sky, to bring it into the way it looked more to my eye. Look at that. And you just darken the sky. And that's just by using a curves layer. There it is here. To darken everything, then you negate it by using a layer mask, a black mask to hide everything. And then I painted on the mask, and I'll show you here what I did. There it is. I painted in here to open it up, paint it with white with a brush, and I just wanted to open up those areas so that everything else would be a little bit darker up there. Okay, that just opened that up a little bit to make it a little more realistic to the way the eye. And at the very end, I just sharpened it, and you just sharpen it, and that's it. So that's what it looked like down at the lake. And by the way, the other reason why I didn't really want to show homes in there and condos and so forth was because this image I was going to use and have used for selling purposes, actually, for greeting cards. So it has that, it's a little bit better without the artificial look to it. Well, that just about wraps it up for today. Thanks for joining me on Neighborhood Photographer. Just a reminder that if you'd like to know a little bit more about me and what kind of photography I like to do, you can go to my website at visart.ca. Just go to the home page here on this channel. Right up at the top in the banner on the right-hand side, you'll see visart.ca. Just click on that and it will take you straight to the website. I'm Ray Scott, reminding you that it's not what you see, it's how you see it.